Help is on the way for the Dallas Mavericks as they look to break their 4-game losing streak by welcoming their rival San Antonio Spurs to the AAC. We preview tonight's matchup coming up next year on the DLLS Mavs pregame show. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella. We are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys cover your favorite team every single game night at Kevin Gray Sports, at Bobby Carella, and our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato. You can find him on X at Tim_Cato. He'll join us here in about 15 minutes live from the American Airlines Center. Mavericks welcoming in their in-state rival San Antonio Spurs tonight as the Mavericks look to break a 4-game losing streak as they begin a home road back-to-back with the Spurs tonight and the Oklahoma City Thunder tomorrow. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports. Let us know how you're feeling about tonight's game between the Mavericks and the Spurs as the Mavericks, of course, 5-7 on the year, 4-3 at the American Airlines Center, take on a Spurs team that's 6-7, 1-4 away from San Antonio this year. Bobby Carella, the Mavericks are a 13.5-point favorite tonight.
Not enough.
As Victor Wembanyama is out for the San Antonio Spurs, but in and help on the way, P.J. Washington making his return after missing the last 5 games with knee injury.
Yeah, Kevin, during that, I was actually logging into Sleeper, and I was looking at some of the things going on tonight. And so let's see if we can have a little bit of fun. You sign up, and they'll match up to 1,500 buckaroos. So DLLS Mavs, use the promo code. P.J. Washington being back is huge for the Mavs. You know, Lively came back last game against Utah, and we thought, oh, my God, manna from heaven. The Mavs' defensive woes are solved. Lively was in foul trouble, and the Mavs had a horrendous defensive performance. PJ, you know, very shaky shooting start, very inconsistent with turnovers, but who on this team hasn't been? But what has not been inconsistent is his energy level on defense, his want-to on defense. He's been battling for rebounds. He's battling guys that are bigger than him. He's trying to keep up with guys that are smaller than him. And San Antonio tonight is going to be missing some big dudes. So, you know, we'll see what they do, but PJ is huge. I mean, PJ is huge for this team, and so him being back tonight, whenever you got another game tomorrow, is massive because you want to take care of business as soon as possible, and PJ can help you do that.
Mavericks, of course, have lost 4 straight games by a combined 8 points after their loss on Thursday night to the Utah Jazz. Mavs have lost actually 5 of their last 6 games.
I hate that.
With their lone win being against the Chicago Bulls. Trust me, I hate it too. And that win came 10 days ago. That's how long it's been since the Mavericks have won a basketball game. Spurs, meanwhile, 3-2 in their last 5 games, including a win over the Wizards on Wednesday night when Victor Wembanyama dropped 50 points. You don't have to worry about him because he's out tonight as he's dealing with a knee injury. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, Mavericks beginning a home road back-to-back. They take on the Spurs tonight before they travel on the road tomorrow to take on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder before they return home on Tuesday to take on the injury-riddled New Orleans Pelicans. Meanwhile, the Spurs on the second night of a home road back-to-back themselves. They lost last night at home in their NBA Cup 2024 debut as they lost to the Los Angeles Lakers by 5.
Tough loss to the defending champs.
That's right. The defending NBA Cup champion, Los Angeles Lakers, 120-115. LeBron James, his 4th consecutive triple-double last night for the Los Angeles Lakers as he continues to turn back the hands of time. But as we mentioned, P.J. Washington is back for the Dallas Mavericks after missing 5 straight games with a knee injury. Jason Kidd speaking during the pregame press conference about what P.J. Washington's return means to this team and how much he will be playing tonight against San Antonio. Take a listen.
Yeah, I think his ability to play both ways, offense and defense, his leadership, his defense, his rebounding. We missed a lot. And so it's good to get him back into the fold tonight.
How much does that just help the flow of everything, just having a guy back and everybody kind of falling back into some of their roles?
Yeah, I think when you talk about the flow, adding, guys coming back from injury and trying to get back into the flow. And so patience is going to be a big thing as we get healthy here. And so just understanding, looking at PJ's minutes, he's not going to play the 36 minutes that he's been playing until we get some minutes under his belt. But it's a group effort right now, and with the injuries we've had, we've given other guys the opportunity to play, and some have taken full advantage of that.
So PJ Washington will be on a little bit of a minutes restriction as he returns from his knee injury tonight. Not necessarily unexpected for Washington coming back from the injury, but like you said, Bobby, good to have him back in this lineup because his defense, his energy, and his presence on the end of the floor is something that the Mavericks have sorely needed, and it will be good to see him back in there getting a flow for this team on that end of the floor especially.
Yeah, this is a team that wants to identify and wants to be known as a defensive team.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be known as a big team. For the last few games now, Lively was out for a little bit. PJ's been out. Maxey was out. That's 3 of your tallest players. That's your 2 power forwards. That's your 2 best 4s and your best 5. And now they're all back. And so there is I'm looking around at all of the excuses there are for having a bad defensive game, and I can't see anything.
There are none.
In here. It's very spacious in here. So, you've got to bring the juice, man. And again, PJ plays hard. Maxey plays hard. Lively plays hard, although he's been struggling with some foul trouble issues, and that is a league-wide adjustment to the way games are being officiated. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying games are being called tight. And the Mavs were, in my opinion, one of the teams that benefited greatly from easing up on the whistles last season. And so I would personally love, as a guy that's wearing a Mavs shirt, I would love if officials eased up on the whistles. But until they do, Lively, PJ, Maxey, we have seen how bad the Mavs defense is without them on the floor. And so they have got to play more under control. I guess we'll find out soon if Lively's starting again tonight. It wouldn't surprise me if Gafford was put back in the lineup based on how Lively played the other night. But we'll see.
Mavericks will be debuting their Trinity River Blue Encore White City Edition jerseys tonight.
They look sharp, dude.
I do like them. The floor, I got a little questions about, but at the same time, the jerseys, I think, look very nice. They'll be debuting those tonight for the first time this season. Mavericks, by the way, have won 11 of the last 12 matchups against the San Antonio Spurs. But, of course, as we know, they have been struggling in the clutch this season, now 1-6 in clutch games after the game on Thursday against the Utah Jazz. By the way, the NBA world, I don't know if you've been paying attention online. I'm sure you have if you're watching the show. The NBA world, of course, the Mavericks are the only game on Thursday against the Utah Jazz. The NBA world has been eviscerating this team, particularly its superstar Luka Doncic over the last 48 hours or so because of the defensive performance that he has shown so far this year. But Luka Doncic has done well against the Spurs in his career. Mavericks are 16-5 in 21 career games. And Luka Doncic has played in averaging 29 points per game, nearly 9 rebounds, and over 9 assists per contest. Bobby, he's got to be the one that sets the tone tonight. He is available. He's been dealing with a knee contusion as well, but he's available and good to go tonight. It's going to be on him to help the Mavericks get off to a good start.
Yeah, and there's a video on our channel. You talked to Tim Legler the other day. I think that was maybe the morning of the Utah game. So it was before the Jazz game. Yesterday, Tim appeared on the All NBA podcast, which is part of the ALLCITY network, along with Adam Modis and Mark Stein. And in both videos, Legs was saying, like, Luka, throughout the majority of his career, he tries to be a first quarter player, tries to be a first quarter scorer. Luka led the league in first quarter scoring, I think, each of the last 2 or 3 seasons. He tries to get going, tries to force the defense to adjust, and then it opens the floodgates for everybody else, right? This year, he's trying to get going early, and he's failing. His shooting splits in the first quarter are, I believe, his worst in any quarter, except for maybe the fourth after what's happened over the last week. And so, if he is going to try and set the tone, he's got to set the tone.
Yeah.
If his shot's not falling, hey, let's get Kyrie involved, let's get Clay involved, let's get the bigs involved. No Wemby, you should have a lot of action around the rim. I thought J-Kid said something else, and I might be stepping on your toes here.
No,
but
you're fine,
I thought J-Kid said something else about Luka in the pregame. He said, this is from Mike Curtis on Twitter, Mike A. Curtis 2. Kid on what he hoped the Mavs learned from Thursday's late game defensive breakdown. This is kind of like a loaded compliment toward Luka. Kid said, quote, communication is the first step, and that's fixable. There's no guarantee that we will get it right. There could be another mistake we can learn from. Late game is something we've had issues with here defensively and offensively. We give up 2 points. We have the ball to tie or win. And when you have the best player in the world, you truly believe that it's going to be a tie or there's going to be a 3. Neither happened. We got to look for Marshall. It didn't go down. We can learn from that. So J Kid is saying, look, Luka, you're the best player in the world.
Yeah.
But he's also saying we're struggling at both ends of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the main guy struggling on offense in crunch time? It's the best player in the world. And who's the guy that gave up the points the other night? It's the best player in the world. And so, J Kid is pretty much saying, Luka, you're better than that. And I believe you're better than that. I believe you can be and will be better than that. But you got to do it. And I think, Kevin, you and I are in agreement. There is absolutely no reason why we should find out if the Mavs are better in crunch time tonight. Leave that for tomorrow or for a future game. I don't care. I don't want to see Luka on the floor in the fourth quarter tonight.
I completely agree. This is a game where, look, I'm going to keep it all the way 100. You should beat the brakes off the Spurs tonight. That should be that's where we need to start from. Beat the brakes off the Spurs tonight because you got a tough game tomorrow against Oklahoma City. No Victor Wembanyama. You're pretty much healthy and fully to go for the Mavericks tonight. And yes, I know folks are already jumping the chest. Say, well, we thought that was going to be a win against Utah on Thursday. We did too. But at the same time, you're back at home. The good vibes should be there. And again, you're mostly healthy with your squad tonight. Meanwhile, the Dallas Mavericks are playing the second of 4 matchups against the San Antonio Spurs this season. Of course, Dallas defeated San Antonio at the AAC on opening night in what was a 120-109 win back on October 24th. You'll remember that game because Klay Thompson went off for 22 points and made 6 3-pointers in his Mavericks debut. It was a fun game as he was able to get going from the 3-point line. Luka Doncic had 28 points that night. Derek Lively had a double-double with 15 points and 11 rebounds and dished out 6 assists as well in that particular game. So the passing of Derek Lively was fun. I'm sure Bobby remembers that game because Julian Champagnie was out there going off at times.
My God.
It's the Mavericks in game
with all these guys out, that means more shots for him?
Yeah, more shots for Champagnie tonight.
This is supposed to be a win.
Yeah, exactly. I do that would get Bobby going. But, hey, guess who's back also tonight for the Mavericks?
Shady's back.
No. Kyrie Irving is back tonight for the Dallas Mavericks. He missed the game on Thursday with a shoulder injury, so Kai back in the lineup as well. So, again, the Mavericks are pretty much fully healthy and ready to go with their guys, Luka, Kyrie, Klay, obviously with PJ Washington back as well. So this feels like a get-right game for this team against the San Antonio Spurs team that has decided that Victor Wembanyama will not be playing tonight. Hopefully that will carry over based off of what we know and who's playing tonight.
I want this to be the kind of game where Jaden Hardy leads the team in minutes.
That means you really beat the brakes off the Spurs if that's the case.
The first quarter, it's going to be 12-11 or something, and everyone's going to be like, this sucks. First quarter, take a lead. Second quarter, remove a little bit of doubt heading into halftime, and then midway through the third quarter, this thing is over. The Spurs have been going through a lot.
They have.
Off the court with Pop.
Mm-hmm.
Their best player, who's one of the best players in the NBA, he just scored 50 the other day. He's not playing. Their second best player, who they've been working back in off the bench, he's not playing. Chris Paul is older than all of us here.
Although he's fourth in the NBA in assists per game this year and nearly 9 assists per contest.
Who's he going to pass to tonight? Julian Champagnie. No! Harrison Barnes is 32, something like that. These guys played last night. Destroy them. Just destroy them. Have some dignity. Have some
pride, damn it.
Yeah.
Just say what you have some pride, damn it. Like, you're at home. This crowd needs to see a win and needs to see this team play better. And what better way to do it than to beat down your in-state rival?
Sohan's out too, apparently?
Yeah, Jeremy Sohan's out, yeah.
Jesus, dude. Come on. Who's guarding Luka? Harrison Barnes. I'm sorry. I love Harrison Barnes. All right. I'm the #1 Harrison Barnes fans in the world. That dude is not guarding Luka. All right. Neither is Stephon Castle. Neither is Chris Paul.
Devin Vassell's not playing either.
Yeah. I mean, Keldon Johnson is the kind of guy that's going to make this game really annoying, but I'm sorry. This game should be over by halftime.
There you go. That's where you hear it.
Go ahead and clip it, ship it. If they get it, if I'm wrong, it's not my fault. All right, let it be known it's not my fault.
Coming up here in just a moment, we'll have Tim Cato live from the American Airlines Center with his thoughts on how the Mavericks will try to get it done tonight against the Spurs and what Jason Kidd had to say pregame as well. But before we get there, become a diehard member here at DLLS Sports, alldlls.com/diehard. For just less than $7 a month, you can become a diehard member and become part of our DLLS sports family here.
Yeah, it's the best way to support what we do here. All these pre- and post-game streams covering all the teams in town are free on YouTube, but if you want to gain access to all the premium written content on our site, if you want to join the DLS Diehard Discord Lounge, where we got all sorts of fun stuff going on there. If you want a free shirt when you sign up and you want a discount on merch, discount on live events, we got those coming down the pipeline. Then you want to go to alldls.com/diehard or click the link in the description below. It'll take you to a great page where for less than $7 a month, your life can change for the better. So go ahead and do that at your leisure. And I would really appreciate it. And so would Kevin. And so would Tanner.
We would really appreciate that. And show off your physical diehard card as well. Tag us on social media, and we'll shout you out as well when you become part of our DLLS sports family. Again, alldls.com/diehard. Become a diehard member today and get those bennies, as my guy Bobby likes to say on this program.
GM Ben's in the chat saying, relax on the old guy talk. Ben, sadly, I think I'm the oldest. I'm older than every Mav. Markieff Morris might be older than me, but otherwise, like, I'm there. If you're my age in the NBA, you're old.
By the way, the Mavericks are the fifth oldest team
I hate that
in the
stat.
league.
I hate that stat so much
this year. So, I mean, if you want to feel old, I guess you're just about as old
That
as
is
Maverick.
such a bad news stat.
Clay's 34. Are you older than Clay?
He's 34?
Yeah.
Oh, Clay's old. No, I'm 33.
Okay, so you're not the oldest. Huh? There you go.
Clay, what's it like? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning?
Let's bring in our Maverick beat writer, Tim Cato, live from the American Airlines Center. You can find him on X at Tim_Cato as Tim.
Bobby, emotionally, you're younger than any Maverick.
That is so untrue. They have no idea what I've been through, and neither do you.
What have you been through?
That's for another stream.
All right.
We might be doing a watch along tomorrow, so depending on how the game goes, fourth quarter might just be
Bobby's stories.
Yeah, we might be in tears.
We're not sponsored by BetterHelp yet.
That's right.
Oh, let's get that.
That's right. Oh, wait a minute. I don't even know what that site is, so I've never heard of them.
BetterHelp?
Agreed.
It's therapy.
I don't know what any companies are.
Oh, okay, got it. All right, I see what you're doing there. But there is help on the way in the form of PJ Washington tonight as he makes his return after missing 5 straight games with a knee sprain. Luka Doncic is available. He's been dealing with a right knee contusion. Najee Marshall is also available. He has been dealing with a little bit of an illness. And Kyrie Irving makes his return after missing Thursday's game with a shoulder injury. What else, Tim, did Jason Kidd have to say? Not just about PJ's return, but also pretty much being fully healthy for the first time, it feels like, in a while for this team.
Well, can I just note that Kyrie Irving was not even on the injury report, which makes me think that a player who missed a game due to injury and then instantly cleared it, an injury that popped up and then just went away, that would lead me to believe logically that he was just rested for the Utah game because
it's pretty yucky to me.
Dallas, I would say rightly so, thought that they were talented enough even without Kyrie Irving to beat the worst team in the NBA, which makes them losing that game even more, frankly, embarrassing.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out.
No, really, because they could have just put rest on it, and we'd be like, okay, fine, that we know what time it is. But yeah, losing the game without Kyrie Irving is completely inexcusable.
In retrospect, this is the game that he should have sat out. But you know what? Hindsight is 20/20. Spaceships don't come equipped with rearview mirrors.
That's very true. Very astute observation. No Victor Wembanyama for the San Antonio Spurs. He's out.
Victor who?
Victor Wembanyama.
I don't know. I thought I heard like an extra syllable in there or something.
No.
Professional at work here. I practice his names.
He said it great.
By the way, Devin Vassell, he's out tonight. He had played last night against the Los Angeles Lakers. He had 15 points, but he will be missing tonight's game as he continues the right foot maintenance after missing the last 9 months with a foot injury. So, all in all, Tim, we should believe this is a game that the Mavericks should win comfortably, given the situation both teams are dealing with from an injury perspective.
I mean, I heard Bobby talking about it. He jinxed the team every possible way that he possibly could. I think that I could see this being – I talked about this a few pre-games ago, that eventually this team is just going to have a game where they hit like 19 or 21 threes. And I asked Jason Kidd about this. Not a lot that Jason Kidd said has stuck with me. It was just kind of one of those pre-game press conference that happens, and he says some stuff, and none of it is super revelatory. But he did say, he talked about how the Spurs are getting up a bunch of threes, and anyway, I think that this could be a game where all of a sudden those threes just go down. Okay, sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. This is bad form already. So I asked Jason Kidd about
the arena, Kevin. So Tim is just
it is fajita night at the arena.
Tim is snoozing.
Okay.
He's
useless
gonna
right now.
nap
I got
Are you gonna hustle over?
I want to so badly, but I got other plans.
Other plans?
Yeah, I can't talk about it.
Okay. So I asked Jason Kidd how he assessed the team because there was a lot of media focus put on the Mavericks. And I think some of it was that they were the only game on Thursday night. And so that just naturally led to them being segments on pretty much every single Friday podcast recorded. But a lot of that attention, we know that Luka we know how he typically responds. When he had 73 points, that was 2 days after he had a firestorm of attention given to him because he got a fan ejected from the game when they were playing the Phoenix Suns. Then he comes out on 2 days later and he just kind of blitzes the Atlanta Hawks. So I do think that it's very likely that Luka comes to play right away offensively. I would not be surprised at all if he has like a 5 3-point first quarter. And that leads to just a get right game for everybody in a Dallas uniform, in a very crispy white City Edition uniform. I could easily see that happening. Jaden Hardy might not just lead the team in minutes. It'd be awesome if he led the team in points. This is the type of game where he could just, have his foot on the gas and on the pedal and just go for 22. And maybe 22 is enough to be your high score in a game like this because everybody's playing sub 30 minutes out there. And maybe he has 27. Jaden Hardy can score. It'd be great. I do think that he has a get right game coming. Just Jaden Hardy specifically, not to mention the Mavs themselves. We know that Jaden Hardy is better than he's been this season. Quentin Grimes is coming along. Klay Thompson, obviously, he's been weirdly pretty good. A lot of the questions we have about him are ones that I think still exist, are still lingering. But they're not questions about him. I think he's been everything the Mavericks thought he would be. The questions are more about the fit, but the team has to get right before we can even start addressing that stuff. So I do agree that this is all set up to be a game where Dallas, really should not have that much difficulty being the better team, being the more talented team. They are the better team. They are the more talented team. I think it's set up to be a game where they show that.
That gets us to our X factors for tonight's game, and we start with what has been difficult first quarters for this team throughout the course of the year. On average, getting outscored in first quarters by nearly 2.5 points in each of their first quarters this year. The question being, can the Mavericks come out with the energy and intensity in the first quarter that is needed? In fact, the Mavericks lost the first quarter in the game that they beat the Spurs in on opening night. Obviously, we know what happened throughout the course of that game, but again, a story that we continue to talk about. It feels like this is a game that you can assert your will early on and be able to put the Spurs in a bind early on, given offensively what you can do tonight.
It's one thing whenever your first quarter is like you're losing 24-19 because you just shoot like crap, but like you're playing decent defense. Their first quarters lately have been like 35-27 or 38-32 or something, where like they're scoring okay, but they're just not stopping anybody, and everyone is comfortable, and everyone's feeling good, everyone's getting a rhythm and all that stuff. Like, no more of that. You don't want guys feeling good. Like, Stephon Castle's going to be their go-to player tonight. He's a rookie. He's been playing well lately. His last 5 games, he's been playing legitimately well. I want him to not have a fun time tonight.
Yeah.
Don't let them get cozy. Harrison Barnes had a huge first quarter on opening night. What the heck? Go guard him. Like Julian Champagny. Who are you, bud? Don't do it again. Just don't let these guys get comfortable. Turn that defense into offense. That's how you win easy.
Yeah, no, I agree. Stephon Castle being their go-to player. Man, that's a sentence.
It is. I mean, it's kind of.
He had 22 and 5 last night. Like, he's had his last 5 games. Don't look now. He's been playing really well lately. But, like, that's with Wemby. That guy ain't playing tonight.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's shown a lot of. He's been one of the rookie standouts in terms of looking like he belongs. He is a ways off from being the player that he needs to be a, complementary contending piece next to a very good player like Wembanyama. But yeah, nice player.
PJ Washington back for this Mavericks team. We mentioned a little bit earlier how he is now healthy. This defense should be much better because of the impact that he will have. Jason Kidd speaking to that early on in the game. The next one I want to get to real quick before we end our pregame show is one that we have been talking about quite a bit in terms of the rebounding for the Dallas Mavericks. And the question I put, can anybody go get a rebound for the Mavericks tonight? The Mavericks are 21st in the NBA, only getting 42.7 rebounds per contest this year, and 21st in defensive rebounding, only getting 32.1 defensive boards per contest. I'm looking at Derek Lively II, who had a double-double in the first meeting with 15 and 11. I'm looking at you, Daniel Gafford, as well, with no Victor Wembanyama. This is a team in the Mavericks that Bobby should dominate on the glass tonight against San Antonio.
Rebounds are possession of the ball, and possession of the ball is pretty important. During this 4-game losing streak against Phoenix, their defensive rebound rate was 71%. Against Denver, 72%. Against Golden State, 66%. And against Utah, 53.5%. That is atrocious.
With no Walker Kessler that game.
That is horrible. That
Yeah.
is completely awful. And their turnover rate in the last 2 games was above 17%. So they're giving the ball up more than 1/6 of the time, and they're grabbing less than 2/3 of the rebounds opportunities on defense. That's a lot of possessions that you're wasting. So, hey, get good. Just get good. It's simple.
Get good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that they should write that on the whiteboard in the locker room.
Get good.
They should have everybody tattoo that across their forehead.
Get good.
That might be a little
lineup
bit
real
dramatic.
quick. So Maxey is starting.
Maxey starting again?
Yeah, Kid said that PJ is not going to get his usual minutes load, so maybe it's just a kind of that thing. Because Maxey, I think Tim was on a minutes limit too, so maybe they're just all vibing out here. Who knows?
Okay. Who else is in the starting lineup for tonight?
Lively is starting.
Okay.
So it's Luka, Kyrie, Clay, Lively, Maxey.
Okay. All right.
Need a better game from Lively. Need a really good game from Lively.
Yes.
Need a good game from him tomorrow, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. I think that look, we were not praising Derek Lively for his performance against Utah, but I want to make it clear he had a very poor night. Like this, he's not even 21 yet, but the way Derek Lively has played through a year and a quarter of his NBA career to date, he has made it very clear that he has earned the right to be criticized if he is not living up to the high expectations that he set for himself. And so he wasn't. He was not engaged. Those fouls were frankly horrendous. The ones that he kept giving up against Utah. I expect more of him. He has made it clear that he expects more from himself. I would like to see a much better version of Derek Lively show up tonight against San Antonio, because that's what I expect from him. That's what he expects from him.
Throw up Soul Child's comment there, Tanner, with need Lively. Yeah, need Lively just stay on the floor. That's goal number 1 right now.
Yep.
Stay on the floor. Stay out of foul trouble. Stay on the floor. Be effective and do what you do on both ends of the floor. As we mentioned, had a double-double in the first time out against San Antonio. With
same
15.
goes for Gafford too. I mean,
Same with Gafford. Yeah,
Matt's been fouling a lot lately. Just stop fouling. Stop. There's so many preventable fouls. Just stop doing it.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
And if you can do that tonight, you should be able to handle yourself on the offensive and defensive glass. Tim, we appreciate you, man, and your reporting tonight, and we look forward to you joining us post-game from the AC once this thing is over with, man.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Tim.
That's our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato, live from the American Airlines Center. Mark Stein will also be joining us post-game as well from the AAC once this one is over with. It is time for Mavericks basketball at the American Airlines Center.
KJ.
What did KJ say?
KJ.
What did he say?
86 watching should be 86 likes. Lame.
That's right.
Let's go, KJ.
Like the video on the way out the
You're
door.
damn right.
We'll be back here 15 minutes after the final buzzer between the Mavericks and the Spurs. Mavericks looking to break their 4-game losing streak tonight at home against San Antonio.
I'm calling it. Mavs win, baby.
Mavs win Mavs win, Sean Heath. We'll be back here, post-game show, 15 minutes after the buzzer, and on the DLLS Mavs post-game show. Appreciate y'all joining us here on the pregame show. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.